All right, we got a 2023 Challenger Hellcat here, just bleeding the brakes. It's a pretty good idea to bleed your fluid every 2 years. If you're running .4, it's mandatory that you do it every 2 years because the brake fluid is what they call hygroscopic, meaning it grabs onto water in the atmosphere. They do sell fluid testers where you can actually test the water ratio inside of your brake fluid. I'll put a link to like a $12 or $14 brake fluid tester, and if it registers a 4% or higher water content, you're going to want to change that fluid. If the fluid is dark brown or black, you're absolutely going to want to change it. So there's a little cover right here that you pop off to get access to your reservoir for the master cylinder. And you want to use like a pneumatic bleeder to suck as much fluid out of here as you can, then fill it up with clean fluid, near the top. And I'll show you the pneumatic bleeder that I'm using. I'll put a link to buy this on Amazon. This is the Airez pneumatic brake bleeder. It's absolutely fantastic. If you try to bleed your, brakes by hand using a hand pump, good luck. You're gonna waste your time. Just get the pneumatic brake bleeder and you'll be good to go. We've got an 11 millimeter box or crescent wrench here, and each caliper, this has the Brembo brake package, so each caliper has two bleeder valves on it here, okay? You're gonna bleed both sides, obviously, so what you'll do, is just pull down on the trigger here to draw vacuum, and as you're drawing vacuum, crack it open. You're gonna turn it about a quarter turn, and you're just gonna let it, bleed and continue to pull fluid through here until the fluid comes through clear. So once you see it starting to come through clear, then you're good to go. While you're pulling vacuum, you're gonna tighten it back up. And then when you pop this thing off, when you just pull off this fitting right here, let me get my flashlight in here a little bit. When you pull this off, continue to have vacuum on it to pull all the remaining fluid through the tube, because if you just pull this off and set it on the floor, you're gonna have a ton of fluid that leaks out of your hose onto the floor. And brake fluid is also corrosive, so you don't wanna get it onto your skin or your paint or anything like that. And if you do, you gotta clean it off right away. This is the rear. Again, you have two, I think, bleeder valves here on the front and the rear. And the bleed order on this car is farthest away. So you start at the wheel that's farthest away from the master cylinder, and then you work your way closer to the master cylinder. So you start on the passenger side rear, driver's side rear, then passenger side front, then driver's side front. Because the calipers are so large, I think, it's a 6 piston in the front and a 4 piston in the rear. So you got 6 pistons here and 4 in the rear like that. Pretty large master cylinder here. You're gonna wanna buy at least 3 bottles, if not 4 bottles of brake fluid. I'm using the Mopar .3. It's just, it's what comes in the car. .3 is gonna last you longer than .4. Like I mentioned earlier, .4, it pulls a lot more moisture out of the atmosphere than the .3 does. And even if the fluid looks good, after 2 years, it's gonna have more than 4% water ratio of water in the fluid. So you're gonna have to change it regardless. With .3, I mean, you could go up to 5 years potentially. You just have to test your fluid. Look at it, visually inspect it, but also test it with the meter. I'll put some links to pick some .3 Mopar up on Amazon as well. And it's a pretty good deal. So it does pull a lot of fluid. And again, as you're using that pneumatic bleeder and you're pulling the fluid through, you want to come back here and keep topping this off. So after you bleed, for instance, like one caliper, and you have, a decent amount of fluid in here, like let's say it's up to this line right here, then you're gonna wanna go back and top off your reservoir. You definitely don't wanna run that reservoir dry, because if you do, you're gonna suck air into your lines, and it's gonna take quite a while for you to get that air out. So that's pretty much it. You know, it's a pretty straightforward job. Doesn't take that long. I got, you know, obviously the car up on jack stands here, so all 4 wheels. You can do 1 wheel at a time. You can. It takes a lot longer. But, you know, I got a video on this, a separate video. But 4 of these jack stands, okay, these have the large circular heads with the pads. I'll put a link to these in Amazon as well if you want to pick up 4 of these guys. We've got lift pads up here by Lift Pad Pro that you put your jack stands on. And then over here, right, we have these pucks, right, that fit up into the channel, into the jack channel. And then you put your jack right there to jack it up, right? So those are magnetic pucks. I'll put a link in those as well in the description on Amazon. Those are about $15 for 2, I think. You get 2 for 15 or 15 a piece. I can't remember, but they're cheap, right? And that's kind of what, you know, what that jack stand looks like right there. Lift Pad Pros, okay? These are called lift pads, and they're made by Lift Pad Pro. You can get a custom logo on it. He'll put the logo on there for like $7 extra or something like that. He's got Scat Pack, Hellcat, you know, RT, this, that, whatever. Logos, Demon, you know, all the things. But it does go a lot faster. I mean, I've basically already done, I don't know, in like 30 minutes maybe, I've already done those 2 wheels, and I'm about to finish this one. So I think you can bleed all the brakes in like, definitely the whole job in less than 2 hours, maybe 1.5 hours. And if you're real quick about it, less time than that. All right, guys, I'll catch you later.